Okay, we're here at the Terrain Modification Academy in Hawaii, and we've got such a great group of guests here. And everybody's on now, what, 10th, 11th day here? Okay.
Yes.
And then who's still water fasting right now?
Me.
Ah, some champions here. Okay, who did less than 7 days of water fasting? Oh, you haven't tried yet, but you're gonna try. Okay, so everybody did 7 or more?
Yes.
Okay, and so just so you know, that's Franz and I were talking in the sauna the other day, okay, and anybody that can just do a 1-day water fast, you're breaking a lot of habits, okay, and if you can break a 7-day water fast, you're resetting your body to actually feed itself. But if you can do a 14-day water fast, that means that you really are starting to get what's called neurogenesis. And neurogenesis is one of the nice things about fasting, is because you actually gain nerve cells when you don't eat. So if you go up to 21 days, okay, which we've had people do up to 31 days here, it means most likely that you have some type of a sickness or some type of thing that you need to really dry out and really dig deep. So we found out a lot of people with Lyme's disease, with any type of disease that you've been called, from diabetes to a lot of different sicknesses. Once you dry yourself out, not just 7 days, okay, but once you get to the 14-day mark, magical starts. Everything really changes. So, you know, if you've done a 1-day fast, that means you're doing pretty good. Okay, and then if you can do a 3-day fast, you just got to the level of breaking the ice. Okay, and if you can do a 7-day fast, that means you've gone at least 3 or 4 days on ketosis. And ketosis is where, of course, everybody knows, where your body runs out of sugar and it has to start to eat itself up, and or what's available for fuel, and it makes as a byproduct called ketones. Okay, or what we call ketosis. Breath sometimes will smell. Armpits, you just start detoxing, but your body starts to, at the same time, starts to change its fuel source. Why? Because it has to. Okay, so this is why we're actually doing a water fast here in everybody. Remember, and it's not just doing the water fast, it's not just getting IV therapies, it's not just getting massage, it's not just getting colon hydrotherapy, it's not just resting either, but it's remodulating your body now to now serve you in a different way, because you're gonna feed it fuels that are gonna be premium all the time. And it took me a while for my system to be able to really utilize this diet called keto diet. Okay, and a keto diet is about 75% oil, and it's about 15% protein, and it's about maybe 5% carbs, and that's it. Okay, or sugars. And that's on my side of the fence. I try to go ahead and limit myself to sugars as much as I can. And it does. It makes your body very lean is clean, and clean is lean. And that's the way a lot of times it works. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're clean. And just because you're overweight doesn't mean you're dirty. Okay, remember, your body's a filter. Okay, and if it's clogged, it starts to accumulate. Your glands are filters. And if they start to clog, you get sick. Okay, so everybody's got all these different areas, okay? And if your intestines basically don't function correctly, because that's one of the reasons why you guys are doing what you're doing, is to dry out all the bad guys, okay? Dry them out as much as you can, and stop the feeding, okay, from going on that you didn't even know that you were feeding. And no matter what level you're at, has anybody ever done more before you came here, a 7-day water fast?
No.
Okay, has anybody done a 5-day water fast? I mean, water, steam distilled water, really, dry water. How about 3 days?
No.
Okay, 1 day. Okay, so have you done juicing fasts?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, and what, 5 days, 7 days? Okay, 7? Okay, and the juicing fast is good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like a very beginning cleanse. But if you really want to reset your body, remember what you guys are doing is pretty heroic to the normal group of people. Because why would you come on vacation? Because you're on vacation. Why would you come on vacation? To starve yourself, to deny yourself, and everybody that lives inside you that's going to tell you that you are denying me of the food that you have been giving me for a long time. And so all of a sudden, who went through some tribulations Like the first 3 days, remember, everybody's got cut off. Mom, why didn't you feed us? Mom, what's the matter? Don't you like us anymore? Did you feel depressed? Did you feel angry, frustrated? Did you feel not yourself in any way? Did you get hungry? Were you hungry or was somebody else hungry? Because you're on 11 days, you said right now, you said you're not hungry. You're empty maybe, but you're not hungry. Okay, how many days?
11.
Okay, what a tough, anybody, guy or girl. I find out women can go and fast way easier than guys can, just so you know. And the only reason the guys do, okay, is just like Jeff before. The only reason he did 14 days is because he didn't want to be a wussy. Because all the girls were doing 21 days, 18 days, 14 days, okay? And it pushes you, because you can. You can easily do another day, can't you right now?
I'm on fermented drink.
No, oh, okay.
But
So,
I could go on, yeah. I
okay,
could.
okay, that's right. So who's still going right now? Okay, so how do you feel right now?
Really good. I'm on 13. I'm
13.
on day 13.
Okay, and then are you hungry?
No, I haven't been hungry at all.
Okay. All right, look how easy that was. And in your mind, you would think if anybody would ever say, I'm going to go ahead and actually lock you up at your own will, because no one's locking you up. You're at your own will, okay? And you're not going to feed for the next 13 days. That would be like going to jail, okay? It would be like going to jail for most people. So, and I used to eat 7 meals a day. I had loads of parasites because it was bodybuilding. Okay, read Arnold's book. It said to eat 6, 7 times a day, little meals. And I did, and my body got so accumulated and so backed up and junked up. I used to be 40 pounds heavier, okay, and I was super stiff. And had a lot of dysfunction, disclarity. School was very hard for me, okay, very hard. And, you know, we all get poisoned at an age, and we think for some reason, remember, learning is easy if you're not poisoned. And once I depoisoned myself, I've learned massively. But when I was going through school, I didn't learn that much. I actually cheated a lot, okay, just to get by. So this is where what I'm saying is that you guys right now have cleansed yourself to a certain level, and you got a lot of learning to do now. And a lot of learning, why? Is because now you know what you're going to do is the right thing to do, and you don't have to veer anywhere because you already know this is what to do. This is your path. Simple. Okay? No one can tell you what to do. Okay? You have to see logical and reasonable in your head, but then again, you have to be guided. Guided means that you have to make the choice. You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. Okay? But I can recommend some things for you. And recommending, number one, that body work is going to be, this is what we're going to talk about, is one of the most important things that you are going to want to do to not only get into the nooks and crannies where toxicity and garbage lives, but this is where certain crystals form in our system, sort of like corrosion on the inside of a hinge, okay? This is where certain types of creatures in the lymph system, like women in the upper outer quadrant of the breast, prostate, different things that live inside the body, harbor themselves until they're ready to be able to flower. And that's when you call metastatic carcinoma, which in my book, like I said, is a set of creatures that live inside yourself. And basically what happens is that they are in control now. And see, the idea of you guys doing what you're doing is you're in control now. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? You're in control. So don't let yourself go back to from which you came. Okay? It's like if you just worked for the last 20 years and you got $20 million in the bank. Okay? Do you want to lose that? You're not going to do what you just did for such and such. No, you're gonna protect it. You're going to figure out, okay, how to forget make money. You're going to figure out how to save it. It's a different way to think. Okay? So this is the same idea with your inner self. You need to really make the choice to be able to know that, number one, just remember, one thing you have to get in your mind, and people are going to fight this, fruitarians and everything. Once you have an infestation of certain characters, and until you get them down to a certain level of you controlling yourself, then you keep your sugar intake to the lowest amount that you could take. Keep it down. Okay? The more body fat you have on you, the more of these types of sugar-eating creatures that live inside you. And remember, when you have any type of body fat inside your body, and or a lot of people that are very thin, okay? Toxins, some of them store into the muscles, and some of them store into the body fat. Pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides go into the body fat, okay? Glyphosate, okay? Other types of things, because muscles are 75% water. Okay, so what you're trying to do with what you just did is wash yourself with water as much as you can. Make space, put more good stuff in, more regrowing the gut wall flora. Then you need to figure out how to get to the next stage and keep pushing and smoothing and getting things out of your system. Because once you get soft, like you're getting softer now, it's because you just took off a whole sheet of garbage, whole sheet of corrosion. Now you can go deeper cleaning. Remember, this is like 180 days of boot camp for yourself to be able to get to the first phase of really polishing up the church. This is the church, your vehicle. This is how you navigate in the third dimension, as we all know. Okay, and if it gets corrupted or dysfunctional, your sojourn becomes miserable. Miserable. It's not because you're so wise, not because you have so much money in the bank, no, because your body doesn't work so well. You can't buy, okay, this type of you can't get a new one. So what do? You learn how to take care of it, or you learn how to regenerate it. Learning how to take care of it's one thing, okay? But what if you've already degenerated? What if you've already accumulated? What if you've already got all these different problems that before you started to make a decision, I'm going to go ahead and actually start doing the right thing and going forward? How do you deaccumulate? And that's what the biggest problem is on actually regeneration. So the younger you are, the easier it is, okay? Like what we did. Show them your back on the camera here. This is Franz, he's 15 years old, okay? And remember, he's not an old guy. Just take your shirt off for a second. Now, Franz, okay, remember, he's not sick. He's here to learn, and he's here to experience. He's with his mom, in fact. Okay? And what a cool thing to go ahead and have family. Go ahead and actually learn the same things, because you guys will actually grow each other. Wait, don't put it back on yet. Okay, so the marks you see on his back, and this is, we did this one on Sunday.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. And this was really, really, really red. And it looked like it hurt. Does that hurt at all?
No.
Okay. And then turn around. And he had a lot of these little white bumps on the back of his arm, and had, you know, areas like everybody, like under the armpit right here. Okay? Everybody, this is the lymph. This is sick tissue anywhere there's marks. And in time, what will happen is turn around again. Okay, in time, this will go ahead and actually disappear in about 3 days. Just takes 3 days to disappear. It's in its yellow stage right now, sort of purpley. And I did him enough to go ahead and actually, and he's been doing this himself first. And this happens to everybody, and it'll happen for about 6 months, maybe a year. Okay, but once you get all this off of you, basically what you have is you have healthy tissue. The tissue will not bruise at all. Zero. Remember, I did me in the sauna. Okay, I don't have any marks under me, and I did myself hard. But once you break it up, and it takes a while, okay, and some people it takes longer, and it takes women longer than guys. So we pulled out, remember, out of your skin, blackish, grayish, just stuff. He's 15 years old.
Yeah.
So everybody has this stuff, and the older you get, the harder it is to get out. It's not that you don't have it, because a lot of times I can work on somebody and we can't get anything out of their skin. I can't get anything to even come off on the rag when I clean their skin. Okay? It's because their pores are shut solid and everything that's toxic is right under the skin. Skin's clean. But when you get dirt on a rag, or you get the cheese that we get out when we go ahead and do the skin protocols, that's pore pus, that's candida. That's the stuff when you squeeze your nose, and what do you get? That little white stuff that comes out of there. Okay, so this is what we got out of you. And how do you feel today? It's been 2 days. I mean, did it make you feel energized, tired, what?
It made me feel much better. It made me feel lighter. It made me feel more awake, more energized. Yeah.
Exactly. It makes you feel like you got a haircut. You didn't even get a haircut. It's like 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing better. When I clean my skin and I do a good, like we were in the sauna for an hour and a half. Okay. That was beautiful. And we feel, and since you've been here, look how much more leaner you are. If I was grabbing on a couple spots, all of a sudden I can see just every day, especially young guys. Because the young guys, he sweat really, really good. Okay, and he stayed in the sauna with me for a long time, which means he's pretty healthy. Okay, and he kept closing the door. I'm thinking, keep the door up a little bit. We're going to suffocate in here. There's no oxygen. But he wanted it hotter, so he's a tough guy. What's that? Oh, okay, it's good. Okay, so, anyways, I get going talking. But I just wanted to show a couple of these things, because I like to show one part for YouTube, okay? And the second part is just what I like to do is actually show techniques, because I don't really like to show techniques on YouTube because I get in trouble, okay? Because me showing you something, I'm showing you what I do and what I would recommend for you to do, and necessarily you have to be logical and reasonable enough to put it in your view, your world, and figure out how it's going to work for you or it's not. Okay, and everybody's different. Every person here is uniquely different. Everybody. So do you think one thing's going to work the same for everybody? Well, it's going to work similar, but each person's going to have to tweak it, okay, to whatever you can. Maybe he can be way more aggressive. Why? Because he can. And maybe you'll have to be less aggressive, but in time, you'll be able to do just like what he's doing. It just takes a little more. Why? The older you get, the more you have to backpedal. So, like I said, this group here is a really good group. This is Nature's group, okay? And everybody's more like an optimizing, and they want to get healthier. It's not that they're sick, okay? They're people that are already. I see you guys stretching and doing stuff, whatever everybody's doing, and it's nice to have one or two people always in that actually want to exercise and want to do. Because a lot of times we have separate people that come up, and we have a group sometimes where everybody's not feeling good. Everybody's really, they came here because they want to get healthy, okay? Not they're overweight or a little bit or this or that. No, that's all vanity sometimes, or in the future you're maintaining, whatever, you know. But these are actually people that actually have been not feeling good for years. So that whole type of group sometimes, like the group that you were in, remember? That was a good group too, okay? Jeff and you guys, remember playing football every night? And we should do this at night, guys. At 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock is activity time. Care if you feel like doing it or not. Go out there and watch everybody else that is, okay? And I got little footballs. You play in the grass. There's no games to play. You just play whatever you want to play. You're a kid, and try to go ahead and just play around, whatever it is. Even if it's walking around, it's just basically activity. And it's really good to, like we were doing last night, some of the advanced stuff, to be able to train your brain to be able to work different ways, okay? To be able to, instead of throw a ball with your right hand, let's start working the other side of your brain. Remember, it's not so much exercise, it's training. Okay, maybe you guys are more advanced. Exercise is easy to do. You're doing that all your life, okay? It's not activity like you're a child. You're gonna train yourself a little bit more advanced, okay? So this is one of the best things you can do too, to sort of balance your brain, is to start using the other part of your body that's been dead. Okay, does anybody write with the opposite hand or ever even try or throw a ball? Okay, that's pretty good. Most people, no, I can't do it. No, I open a door always with this hand. This one just doesn't do it. So the big picture, what we're going to show you here now is that not only can you do a lot of the massage deeply yourself, because you can use any of these tools, okay? You can use any tool you want. Like I said, we're going to use all these different tools here and a couple different liquids and things like this. You can see how just using the back of a jar, you can use anything as long as it's smooth and as long as it has not a jagged edge to it or anything. Okay, so these tools, what they do is they're going to help you so you can start breaking up tissue other than going in the sauna. Okay, this is a different therapy. This is more aggressive than the sauna. Why is it? It's because you're not soft. Okay, soft is to be able to mush things around a little bit first to soften them up. It's sort of like getting warmed up before you stretch before you go on a run. Okay, remember 45 minutes we did. Okay, before we worked on each other. So right now everybody's cold, including me. Okay, so this is actually to go deeper into the tissue. Okay, but you have to be more careful, and you'll see that it's actually very good therapy to go ahead and do this a little bit if you can every day, and you pick on a spot. A lot of people that have tennis elbow, I had massively for years. You break all that tissue down. You break it down a little bit at a time, okay? It'll rebuild itself. It'll never rebuild itself if it has scar tissue. So the reason you're doing this is not just for toxicity, it's to break up old injuries. It's to be able to break up old injuries, and your system, especially with the diet that you're on right now, will rebuild itself. Okay? The system will not rebuild itself unless you break down the old garbage that's on top of it. It's the way it works. It's taken a long time sort of to see how that works, especially on me. So, and just to go over this one last thing, I've had 1,500 hours of deep body work, okay? And that's someone doing it to me. And you don't really need to learn massage as far as you need to practice it. Okay, everybody's got a body. Look at the anatomy chart and everything, and there's a few sensitive spots when you massage on anybody. Okay, the back of the neck, there's a styloid process right here. It's a little bone that comes down. You just got to watch that. Okay, and the 11th and 12th rib right here, they're floating, so don't step on them too hard. Okay. Other than that, the body's pretty versatile. Okay, it's very, very tough. Okay, it's not weak. The older you become, though, some people's bones get brittle, and some people's cartilage starts to go ahead and actually get stuck together, like in the ribs. So people can actually split ribs. So anybody that's over 50 years old, some of the techniques that I like to show people, they need to really, soften up the body. Usually you get that by having professional people work on you that actually can break this stuff up systematically. Full body massage though. And you're just breaking up a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And then when actually you can handle a deep massage really good from somebody, it's really good when you start working on each other. You pick somebody like, so this time here, what we'll do is, if everybody can just pair up with whoever I want to pair up with, okay? And I'm gonna have one person, so maybe I'll work on France there.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, maybe some 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, okay, perfecto. And then what I'm gonna do is, each person is different. Okay, so I'd like to go ahead and show you a technique that I'm going to do on him, and I want you guys to show, do it on the other person here. Okay, and the reason being is because I want to see how you're doing it. Because a lot of times you're going to think that you're going to hurt somebody. No, I want you to put pressure. You need to tell, no, do it harder. Remember, you're the gauge. If she's intuitive, if she's working on you, then that's great. Okay, but you need to help her no matter what. No, you can go way deeper than that. Oh yeah, right there. Okay, break it down. If it hurts and if it itches, it feels good, you always want to go harder and deeper. You'll find out when you start doing this massage, it may itch. That's good. That means do it more, do it deeper, and itch it until it's gone. Okay, the itch is good. That means you've got a big ball of stuff that just wants to break apart. And if it hurts, you may have a big ball in there, like we'll go over, okay? And everybody's got different, lipomas, those are fatty tumors. Some people have crystals in the muscles, okay? And they have sore muscles when they touch them because they have crystals in the muscles. So that's why these different solvents that we show you how to put on soften those crystals up, because if not, you won't do it. Remember I was squeezing your shoulders? You said, hey, it hurts. I know. Okay? And then maybe I squeezed your shoulders twice, sir. And you go, is that all you got? And it felt good. And so yours will break down easy, okay? And the problem is it does take consistency is the whole practice. It's not doing it on Sundays. It's not just doing it once. Remember, if you want to rehabilitate yourself, especially if you're stiff, I had to do 4, 5, 6 hours of stretching every day. I don't sit there and stretch and do nothing. I'm at my office. I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I'm stretching. I'm folding my clothes. I'm stretching as I'm going. I try to do as much as I can because for me, I couldn't touch my toes. Remember, I was completely neuromusculoskeletal, as far as rehabilitation. That was my number one key, is to be able to make it so I could put my socks on. Okay, not to be able to, get a set of abs or try to lean your body up or anything else. No, I mean your body, remember, is a super machine, and once you get it up to a certain level of maintenance, it fixes itself all the time. But once you gain these little parasites that accumulate in the toxicity, once you dehydrate yourself, get demineralized, and once you get all these things happening, you have to just reverse it. That's it. Okay? You reverse it out. And once you get to the level like you guys are right now, okay, like I said, the body work right now, since your body is actually very soft, and soft means that you haven't eaten any food. And if you have, you're just on ferments. That's not food. Okay? Food's mashed potatoes, a big steak, potato, whatever it will be. Okay? So, the real bottom line, if you can, remember, it's less than more is going to help you right now. Get a few things in your head. Less is more for you. And if you can just do one meal a day, and in the morning, make one of my breakfast, look up Dr. Robert Cassar breakfast teas. Get some of the psyllium powder, the stuff. Make it taste good with nutmeg and cinnamon. And I put stevia in. My drink in the morning tastes so good, and I didn't bring it with me. I put golden berries because there's really hardly any sugar in golden berries. It's all tarty, full of vitamin C, 14% protein. Okay? Then you want to put some oils. You can put coconut oil in there. If you do ghee butter, put some ghee butter in. You can even put some raw organic cream if you want to. Make sure it's RSPT free. Put some type of fat or oil in it. Mix it up, and that's my morning breakfast. And then I'll have, like I said, and just do this. I have 3 or 4 of these throughout the day, all different ones. I'm not drinking just water. I'm having fun. And if you want to make it taste a little good to trick yourself, because remember, this might be a little bit hard on your head, so what? Put a few drops of stevia in it. So what? Remember, you can cheat. Who says you can't? Just don't want you to cheat all the time and cheat too much. If you can cheat a little bit to be able to go forward, then cheat. Don't stop. Don't say, I can't do this. No, you can't. You just have to sort of back up, or maybe even go ahead and do a day where you feel, and you'll do this, where you're going to go ahead and eat something that you know you shouldn't have, and you're going to have to do that several times. And I can tell you right now, I can just tell you, this is what's going to happen. Once all your gut wall flora are clean, and once they are non-perverted with wheat, corn, or soy, or glyphosate, or any of the pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides, once you put these in your intestinal tract, you will say, why did I eat that? Because you won't be able to go to the bathroom in the morning. Okay? I had organic popcorn 3 nights in a row because I'm over there social in California with my family for Christmas. Organic air pop popcorn. I didn't fry the oil. I put raw butter on top, and coconut oil and olive oil with different seasonings and so forth. And the first day it didn't bother me too much. I had my probiotics. I'm trying to go ahead and see, because I like popcorn. Organic popcorn. It's even blue pop. It was blue, white, and yellow popcorn. It was a tri-blend heirloom, it said. Okay. So, first day was okay. I had my probiotics. I said, hey, that worked pretty good. I ate a lot of popcorn, and it didn't stuff me up. Because usually that's it. It would irritate my stomach, and that would be it. Second day, and this was, remember, no oil. Second day, I went ahead and all of a sudden had stomach ache, and I felt sick in the morning. Okay? And my intestinal tract, and it made me feel like I was half drunk in the morning. Really, really unclear. Remember, you're going to get cleared right now. So when you want to get uncleared, don't have wheat, corn, or soy. Just try it. None. Okay? And if you do, you'll feel the next day like you took a Valium that night, and you'll wake up, well, what the hell is this? You feel real cloudy. You feel sort of dreamy a little bit still. Okay? Not only that, you're hungry in the morning. So on the third day, and I have pictures of this, I couldn't go to the bathroom. My stomach was killing me. I had popcorn 3 nights in a row. Okay? And I had stools in my blood in my stools. Okay? And that happened every time I've ever had any popcorn. This is how irritative it is on a clean gut wall flora. This is how irritative it is, because I don't have anything to break that stuff down, which most likely, even if it's organic, it's hybridized corn. Just because it's organic is what I'm trying to say. Don't get fooled. Hybridized is not heirloom. Okay? Heirloom means it has not been changed by nature. Hybridized, this is a real tomato, heirloom, not these big ones like you see. It's apples are small, oranges, everything's small. And what did we do to hybridize them? Farmers make more money, more weight, more size. Okay? This is an apple now. This is a tomato now. This is an orange now. Okay? This is a watermelon now. Okay? Not a little pumpkin like a squash. No, now we got them big. Okay? So these are hybridized, and you are what you eat. This is another thing. Get in your head. You are what you eat, and if you eat hybridized stuff, what's it going to do to you? It's going to hybridize you. Is it going to hybridize you small? It's going to hybridize you big. Okay, so these are all like little pieces. Once you cut out all wheat, corn, and soy, and I love corn. I love tortillas. Okay, so you know what I do right now? I have brown rice tortillas. Okay, if I want to have a cracker, I use Thin Crisp, caraway only. I still have my crackers. I still have my few things that basically give me my emotional, because it's not what anybody needs, it just makes me feel okay. Like I used to have Doritos with my sandwiches every time when I was a kid. Put ketchup on them too. Okay, so whatever makes you, remember, half the things that you need to keep on going, to keep yourself going, is feed your emotional body a little bit. So if you put some ketchup on, use organic ketchup. Use a little bit. So what? Whatever you need to do to keep on going. So yeah, as you go ahead and go further and further down into health, you start to back up a few times because you're going to have to go ahead and eat a few things that you're not supposed to. Okay, and then once you eat a few things you're not supposed to, then you'll wake up in the morning and you learned your lesson, because you're not going to learn from me telling you. You're going to learn from saying, that's logical, it's reasonable, but then you're going to back up and you're going to do something stupid. Why? Because you wanted to be social and you had to do this and you had to do that. And then you wake up in the morning and go, damn. Okay? But when you're sick, you wake up in the morning and you don't say damn because you're feeling that way every day and it's normal. So this is the best part of yourself, is remember, is the cleanest that you've probably ever been for a while, okay, is when you leave here right now. It's just because you dried yourself out. So the things, the second part is this is just to keep you going. It's not just the diet that you do. That's number one piece. That's logical. Keep on drawing out and drawing out. But now you need to service the machine. You need to break it up. You need to rebuild it. Okay? And it's not just rebuilding your gut wall flora. We know that. That's probiotics. It's not just maybe even doing some exercise to go ahead and get a little cardiovascular. No, you got to break up all the old stuff. And so that's a journey. And it's for me, I've had a person helping me in my journey for about 15 years. A good friend of mine, Mark Daniels. We went to school together since I was 17. 17, 27, 37, 47, 57. She's a long time ago. Almost 40 years ago. Okay? And we used to be both bodybuilders. We had my wife was his best girlfriend, and his wife, you know, such and such, real tight. Ate 2 pounds of meat a day, both of us. 20 eggs a day. Followed Arnold Schwarzenegger, stupid stuff. He took a lot of steroids at one point in time. I never did because I competed in the teenage natural contests. So I never needed to anyways that way, because my whole deal wasn't to be big, was to be real lean though, you know, and be you know, different than the guys that are real big. So anyways, we evolved in somewhat together. So stopped eating meat, went down from pork to beef to chicken to fish, okay, down to scallops, and broke it off. So is anybody was eating meat before they came here right now? Okay. And what kind of meat were you eating?
Chicken, fish.
Okay.
I just had a little bit of turkey on Christmas Day. I didn't eat much.
Okay. If you can, stay away from flesh. Just if you can. Okay? And the reason being is almost all flesh is infected with a lot of different stuff. Remember, it's commercially grown. It's commercially fed BT corn. It's commercially fed antibiotics, vaccines, and hormones, all of them. So since your system's pretty clean right now and you've dried yourself out of most things, but if you live in a family that likes meat, that's the problem. So my son has meat when he comes over here. You know, pulls the barbecue out and he fries steaks on the thing. So, you know, for me, just the idea is that the fine line of you keep on progressing is to go ahead and sort of, you got to give and take a little bit, because if not, you go home like I used to, and I was too much of a red herring. Okay, and everybody doesn't want to be with you anymore because now all of a sudden you're out in left field. But it, you know, it just depends on, you know, where and how, you know, you have a family other than Franz right now?
My husband.
And just does he follow? Going to follow the same things more to you?
He says he will eat meat once a day.
Once a day, remember
So
that.
at lunch.
I used to have it 3 times a day too.
And he says that he will eat whatever we cook for us.
Raw food.
Okay.
So it's perfect.
And if he
because
asks you to have meat, try to go ahead and have him so he has something organic. It's way more expensive, so he'll eat less. But then again, it doesn't have vaccines, hormones, and antibiotics in it. Okay? Because what happens is, remember, once you clean yourself, I'm just going to make this real quick point. Once you clean yourself, both you guys, and you have different parasites, y'all have the same parasites. You eat the same foods, swapping kisses, and whatever it is. Y'all have the same stuff that swims inside you. And once you start changing all this, and your frequency and your vibration rises, you're not going to get along as good as you think. And this ruins a lot of families. That's why it's good for you being the matriarch of the family to slowly, as this guy brought you here, right? He had to give you the confidence job. He's a good con man. He's a confidence builder.
Right.
He had to give you confidence to come here. And now it's your job to be able to see if you can bend your, and have them meet once a week. Okay? And then no pork, ever.
No.
Okay? No beef if you can't either. Just chicken or fish or scallops or something like that. Sopa de mariscos. You know, the siete mares, yeah? So, I mean, something that idea, but because otherwise what happens is relationships that are in families, their parasites don't like each other anymore, and they start fighting, and they start using this, you know, and it does. I've seen it happen with me, happen with hundreds of people that I know, is that one person in the family now all of a sudden cleans themselves, changes themselves, they become the red herring, not only of the little family, but the big family. Okay, so it's sort of sometimes a little difficult, you know, so over time, my brother's a vegetarian, my sister's a vegetarian. I've bent a lot of people over. My father, he does what he does, he's not going to change, you know, and everybody, you know, changes and tries a few things, but the people that I just, so you know, for me, the people that I connect with more are the people that really want to change. So all I can say is you make your husband want to change because you found out that this is actually real. That's it. It's not that I want you to do anything, this is something we should do. Because it's healthy, because one of these days, we all get sick, and then we gotta figure out how to backpedal. And you might as well change when you're not sick. You might as well change when you feel good. Because if you don't change, when you feel good, you ain't gonna. You have to go to some person with a white jacket, and you're gonna have to listen to them, even if you want to do something alternative, because this happened to my family. Your whole family, if they believe in the person with the white jacket, is gonna fight you in every form and fashion. They're gonna blame it on you if anything ever happens to such and such, that we want them to do the chemo and the such and such and all this stuff. Well, everything shouldn't have got to that point, because it never gets realized, because there's always somebody that wants to pull somebody, and they always go towards this other side of the fence, because that's the only thing you can do, because that's traditional. So, anyways, you guys are all in traditional people, and you're all basically, you know, you guys are like a little team there. You guys give each other's emails and stuff like that, and it's good for you to have a goal. Everybody's on their own little journey. Okay, let's do part 2 here. Let me shut up. No. Okay, this is part 2. Part 2 on self-massage, but it's deeper than self-massage because you want to practice this also on someone else. So you can really go ahead and find different types of nooks and crannies that you can't even get on yourself on someone else. See, doing this technique we're going to show you is actually being able to work on yourself, but also to be able to do this on someone else too. Because even though you can work on yourself, you still can't work on yourself like someone else can work on you. Because they can get in way deeper spots and different things. But you can at least get 50% of yourself, so there's no excuse to say that you can't do this. And so what you do is, this is a compartmentalized massage, is what I call it. Okay, you're doing not your body, you're just doing a part. One of the parts that works really good to do this on is the face and the jaws, okay, and the neck. That's all one part. Another part would be to do the arms, shoulders, and hands on both sides. That's a lot of work. Okay, it's not just little stuff. You're going to go through there and really break into the muscle fibers. And then if you're going to work on the arms, okay, it's good for you to be able to just look on Gray's Anatomy or look on the internet and look and see muscles of the arms, so you can see why the bicep is the bicep. It's 2 muscles. Why the tricep is the tricep. It's 3 muscles, okay? The brachioradialis, all those tendons in there and all that fascia in there, that's why it hurts. And that's why, okay? This is the reason being why different areas that you work on, you need to know why you're working on it. And you can't hurt yourself in the arms. You really can't hurt yourself in the jaw, okay? In the legs. The only thing that's going to hurt is your head. You're going to feel a little pain. And so this is the idea. Remember, self-massage is really good for you to do, okay, to get into your pain centers that you don't really sometimes like anybody else playing in. And it's sort of like transition for beginning people, but let's say you're more advanced, or just for me even. I'm not really testing out and seeing where all my bumps are. You know, it's almost like doing examinations of it. We're trying to find and see if you have any nodules, balls under the tissues, and you're working all this tissue. And if you find one, what do? You break it down. That's it. Search and destroy. That's what this is about. It's not for relaxation. It's search and destroy for bumps, for feelings. Why does it have pain there? It shouldn't. Healthy tissue doesn't hurt. Remember that. So if your tissue hurts, it means it's not healthy. Why it's not healthy, it's another story. Okay? So Franz is going to come up here as my guinea pig example here. And as you noticed before, like we said, he's got these marks on him, but they're not really sore, right?
No.
Okay, so you can do different treatments overlapping other ones. It's because it looks like his skin, his tissues are sore, but they're not. Okay, so this specifically is actually to work. Okay, just let's look at this in the camera real quick. If, like I was showing the other day, if this is your leg and we cut off your leg from here and you're looking at the femur bones in the middle and the rest is tissue. Okay, when you work in the sauna, you're only working the first maybe 1/3, the tissues of the skin. Remember, we want to get the garbage out like we were talking about the other day. You want to get as much of the superficial stuff that you can get out of here. This technique is going to start working in deeper into towards the bone, towards the bone. So once you get in towards the bone, the closer you get to the bone, the harder the tissue that's supposed to be soft will be. And you're going to feel bumps. You're going to feel like a big piece of tissue is like solid, and it should feel like little spaghetti fibers. Okay, and in time you'll feel them break down really easy, especially if you hang with this diet. Okay, if your body is full of acid and it's full of acidity, then any of these movements is going to be severely sore, and you won't let anybody do it, is because the tissues inside are crystal form. So what we do is we're going to use some magnesium. And what I like to use, we're not going to use it today though on him, is fulvic acid. And this is really good to regenerate the tissues, wrinkles, and also to be able to soften up right underneath the tissues and the pores when you go in the sauna, so you'll sweat better. Okay? So you do this if you want to better out of the sauna and go into the sun, so the fulvic acid can really go in. If you go in and put it in the sauna, it drips off on the ground. Okay? So the fulvic acid is a very strong pH. The magnesium is alkaloid, and it's full of 80 minerals, but it's really strong, and what it does is it drives it into the skin better. Okay, so what we do is on Franz here, I just put in 3 or 4 squirts like this, and then what everybody can do is do the same thing here. I just want to show you one little technique here first, and then try this. So you put enough of the magnesium dry, without any oil. I want to get the magnesium in the tissue. If I put oil on it first, it can't get in good. Okay, so if you're going to put magnesium on also in the morning, let's say in the shower, if you want to get more of a therapeutic dose and you want to get your tissues so they're thinner and they're softer, it's going to burn because you're going to put it on directly. Okay, if your tissue's pretty good, okay, and you don't want to go ahead and actually go through, putting on the magnesium and doing it, because there's different ways to put it on. You put coconut oil on first, and then you put a couple sprays and mix it with the coconut oil, and then put it on. But you can see, I'm putting it on him, but when I put it on him, I'm not just putting it on so it's slick. We're going to rub it in until it gets stuck. I want the magnesium in the tissue. Remember, we're going deep, and it gets stickier now. Watch. This is how you get magnesium in the body. With the coconut oil, it doesn't go in like this. You're trying to drive this into the tissue. Feel how it's getting stickier now?
Yeah.
And this is an oily thing, but it's not. It's disappearing. It's going into the tissue. This is transdermal by heating it up. It's through electron flow, and as I'm going back and forth, I'm heating up his tissues. And you see how it's getting stuck now?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what we want to do. I know it's in there now. Okay? And as I'm doing, look what I'm doing. I'm squeezing his tissues, I'm not just doing it. Okay? On both sides. So first I just rubbed it in, get it in there, and what the magnesium does, it relaxes your tissues. So this is just like a simple muscle relaxant by using, got a neck spasm, rub it on. Don't just put the magnesium on, rub it in for 5 minutes. So once it feels, shut this thing off. Boy, that thing's hot feeling. This is the far infrared mat under here. Just 2 secs, but this is a beautiful piece of equipment to be able to do massage with, to lay on. It softens you up big time. This is one of my most favorite pieces of equipment. that has 200 jade stones and limestones on it. So now what I'm going to do, remember, we're not using any coconut oil or anything. This is sort of aggressive, okay? He's not slippery, okay? Because that's the next treatment. The first one is not to slip all over the place. Is to rub it in really good, get it so it's feeling sticky, okay? So it takes a little bit to do this, but as I'm doing it, look, I'm still working. And we're sort of softening up because we're working the tissues and getting them ready for deeper torture. Okay, and you go all the way down into the wrists, like this, and that works me too. Okay, so that's why it's good to do this on one person to another. Okay, and then I'm using my thumb now. Okay, now I'm going to start using another technique. I'm using my thumb. Feels pretty weird, huh? Watch your fingers. Okay, I'm using my thumb. If you don't have the strength in your thumb, okay,